The beginning of a bold rescue. In the vastness of space, Aurel, a seasoned diplomat from the peaceful Silurian race, found Zerself facing the unimaginable. Pirates had ambushed Zer's ship, destroying the propulsion system with brutal efficiency. Aurel was stranded, helpless, with no means of escape. The darkness of space, once a comforting embrace, now felt like a cold, unyielding grave. As Aurel prepared to resign Zerself to fate, a sudden alert interrupted Zer thoughts. An unidentified ship had jumped into the system. The display flickered with uncertainty before identifying the newcomer, a human cargo vessel. Despite the ominous connotations attached to human warships in the galactic community, Aurel's experience with humans had always been positive. They were a young species, yet they carried a deep-seated sense of duty and honor, traits that often led them into dangerous situations. The human ship, identified as the Ela, wasted no time in establishing communication. "This is Captain Raylan of the cargo vessel Ela. Do you need medical assistance?" Aurel hesitated before responding. "This is Aurel of the Silurian diplomatic vessel. I am unharmed, but I request immediate communication with my homeworld. The pirates have taken the broodmother." The response was immediate and resolute. "Understood. We're docking now. Prepare to evacuate." Aurel was surprised by the human's decisiveness. In Zer experience, other species would have simply relayed the message and moved on, but humans were different. They acted first and questioned later, driven by an innate need to help, regardless of the cost. As Aurel waited in the airlock, Zer thoughts raced. The broodmother was not just any passenger. She was a symbol of unity for the Silurian people, an irreplaceable leader. The pirates' attack wasn't just a random act of violence. It was a calculated move to destabilize an entire species. The airlock door hissed open, revealing a fully suited human. Aurel noted the human's cautious approach, bringing an additional canister of atmosphere just in case. It was a small gesture, but it spoke volumes about their preparedness and understanding of other species' needs. "Welcome aboard, Aurel. We'll do everything we can to assist you," Captain Raylan said, Zer voice muffled through the helmet. As the docking clamps released, abandoning Aurel's stricken vessel to the void, Zer realized the full extent of the human's commitment. They weren't just offering aid. They were prepared to pursue the pirates to the ends of the galaxy. "Captain," Aurel began, hesitant, "you intend to follow the pirates?" Raylan's response was a toothy grin, a gesture that Aurel had learned to recognize as a sign of human confidence. "Yes, they took someone important to you, didn't they?" "Yes, but why? She's not of your kin, and the pirates are armed." Raylan's expression softened, though the determination in Zer eyes remained. "Because it's the right thing to do. We protect our own. And right now, that includes you and your people." Aurel was taken aback. In Silurian society, such selflessness was rare, reserved only for the closest of bonds. Yet here were these humans, risking their lives for someone they barely knew. It was both admirable and unsettling. As Aurel followed Raylan to the bridge, Zer's mind raced with questions. What kind of species were these humans, who treated allies as family and faced danger head-on without hesitation? Zer's previous interactions with them had been diplomatic, carefully orchestrated exchanges of culture and knowledge. This was different. This was raw, unfiltered humanity at its core. The bridge was a hive of activity, with every human focused on their task. The pilot, a young woman with sharp eyes, was plotting their course with a precision that bordered on obsession. The weapons officer, a stern-looking man, monitored the ship's defenses with a vigilance that spoke of countless battles fought and won. And then there was Raylan, the captain who had so readily accepted this dangerous mission. "Captain, we're gaining on them," the pilot reported, her voice steady. "Their trajectory suggests they're heading to a system with minimal oversight. It's a perfect hideout. Will we reach them before they can jump again?" Raylan asked, Zer tone calm, but with an undercurrent of urgency. "Possibly. If their drive cooldown is long enough, we might have a chance to intercept. Oral couldn't help but marvel at their efficiency. The humans were not only capable, but also incredibly resourceful. They had adapted their cargo ship, originally designed for transport, into a makeshift warship with surprising effectiveness. As the ship lurched into another jump, Oral felt a mixture of fear and hope. Xur was now part of a mission that could determine the fate of Xur's entire species. The broodmother's life hung in the balance, and these humans, with their unwavering resolve, were Xur's only hope. For the first time in Xur life, Oral understood why the galaxy both feared and respected humanity. They were more than just another species. They were a force of nature, driven by an unshakable belief in doing what was right, no matter the cost. Into the void. The jump ended abruptly, and the ship rocked from an impact. Alarms blared, and the bridge was bathed in a crimson light. "Found them," the weapons officer exclaimed, excitement tinging Xur voice. Oral braced for the worst. The pirates were known for their ruthlessness, and their ships were armed to the teeth. But as the human crew sprang into action, Oral saw no hesitation, only determination. "Are we sure it's them?" Raylan asked, even as the ship shuddered under another impact. "Drive signature matches," the pilot confirmed. "And they're shooting at us, so I'd say it's a safe bet." "Take us closer," Raylan ordered, Xur voice calm amidst the chaos. Oral could hardly believe what Xur was hearing. They were deliberately closing the distance, moving into the line of fire. It was as if these humans had no concept of fear, or perhaps they simply refused to let it control them. As the ship maneuvered closer to the pirate vessel, Oral watched the human crew in awe. They worked with an almost mechanical precision, each one knowing exactly what needed to be done and when. There was no need for lengthy discussions or second-guessing. They trusted each other implicitly. "Captain, we're within range," the weapons officer reported. "Disable their engines," Raylan ordered. "We need them alive." The ship's weapon systems hummed to life, and Oral felt a surge of energy as the human vessel unleashed a volley of precise, targeted fire. The pirate ship's engines flared and then sputtered out, leaving them dead in the water. "We've got them," the pilot said, a note of triumph in her voice. Raylan turned to Oral, Xur expression serious. "This is your chance. We'll board their ship and get the broodmother back. Are you with us?" Oral didn't hesitate. "Yes. Let's do this." As the boarding party prepared to launch, Oral felt a strange sense of calm. For the first time since the attack, Xur had hope. The humans had given Xur that hope and the strength to fight for what was right. And as Oral stepped into the boarding pod, surrounded by humans who had risked everything for Xur people, Xur knew one thing for certain: humanity was a force to be reckoned with, and with them by Xur's side, anything was possible. The fierce assault. The boarding pod detached from the cargo vessel Ela, speeding toward the disabled pirate ship. Inside, Oral and the human boarding team waited in tense silence. The small space was filled with the low hum of the pod systems and the steady breaths of those readying themselves for the fight ahead. Oral studied the humans around Xur, noting their calm demeanor. Each was armed with advanced weaponry, their suits equipped with a blend of tactical gear and emergency supplies. These were not soldiers but crew members, ordinary people thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Yet they carried themselves with the quiet confidence of seasoned warriors. "Ready, Oral." Captain Raylan's voice came through the comms, pulling Oral from Xur thoughts. "Yes," Oral replied, gripping the handle of the plasma cutter Xur had been given. Xur wasn't a fighter, but Xur's resolve was firm. The broodmother's life depended on them. The pod clanked against the pirate ship's hull, and with a hiss, the magnetic clamps engaged. The door slid open, revealing the dark, narrow corridor of the enemy ship. The humans moved with swift precision, Raylan at the front, scanning for threats. Oral followed, heart pounding in Xur's chest. They advanced quickly, meeting little resistance at first. The pirates, clearly not expecting an immediate boarding action, were disorganized and scattered. The humans took advantage of this, dispatching any opposition with brutal efficiency. Each encounter was over in seconds, the pirates either subdued or eliminated. As they pushed deeper into the ship, the corridors grew narrower, the air thicker with the scent of burnt metal and ionized plasma. Aurel could feel the tension rising. They were getting closer to the heart of the ship, where the brood mother was likely being held. Raylan, we've got a sealed door up ahead, the pilot, now acting as the team's engineer, reported. Looks like it leads to the main hold. Raylan nodded, motioning for the team to take positions. Aurel, stay back while we breach. Once we're in, follow us closely. Aurel complied, stepping aside as the humans prepared to breach the door. The pilot worked quickly, setting charges along the door's edges. Within moments, a dull thud reverberated through the corridor as the explosives detonated, blasting the door open. Inside, crumpled on the floor, was the brood mother. Her normally vibrant scales were dulled, and she moved sluggishly, weakened from whatever the pirates had subjected her to. Raylan quickly assessed her condition before activating Zircom's. Aurel, get over here. We need to stabilize her before we move. Aurel didn't need to be told twice. Zur rushed to the brood mother's side, kneeling beside her as Raylan handed Zur a medkit. The tools were foreign to Zur, but Raylan's calm guidance helped Zur administer the necessary treatment. The firefight was still ongoing, but Aurel's world had narrowed to the brood mother's labored breathing. Each breath she took seemed to require immense effort, and Aurel could feel Zur fear growing. Zur had to help her. Zur people needed her to survive. After what felt like an eternity, the brood mother's breathing stabilized, and she managed to lift her head, her eyes meeting Aurel's. There was gratitude in her gaze, mixed with pain, but also something else. Determination. Aurel, she rasped, her voice weak but firm. You've done well. Now, let's finish this. Aurel nodded, emotions threatening to overwhelm Zur. The brood mother was alive, and they had a chance to escape. But the battle wasn't over yet. Raylan helped the brood mother to her feet, supporting her as they moved back toward the human team. The pirates were being pushed back, their numbers dwindling rapidly. The humans' superior tactics and resolve were winning the day. We need to get out of here, Raylan said, Zur voice urgent. Pilot, how's our exit looking? Clear for now, but we've got to move fast, came the reply. Reinforcements could arrive at any moment. Raylan nodded, glancing at Aurel and the brood mother. We're almost out of this. Stay close, and we'll get you both to safety. With the brood mother in tow, the team began their retreat. The remaining pirates, seeing their leader incapacitated and their defenses crumbling, started to scatter, abandoning their posts. The humans pressed their advantage, ensuring the path to the boarding pod remained secure. As they approached the pod, Aurel felt a surge of relief. They had done it. They had rescued the brood mother and neutralized the pirate threat. But as the pod's door closed behind them, sealing them inside, Aurel knew that this victory was only the beginning. The brood mother's survival was a critical blow to the pirates' plans, but it also meant that the humans had made powerful enemies. Yet, as the pod detached and sped back to the Ela, Aurel couldn't help but feel a deep sense of gratitude. These humans, who had risked everything for Zur people, had shown Zur the true strength of their species. They were more than just allies. They were friends, and Aurel knew that together they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. A dangerous alliance. Back on the Ela, the crew quickly set to work treating the brood mother's injuries. Aurel stayed by her side, offering what comforts he could as the medics administered their care. The humans' medical technology was impressive, far beyond what Aurel had expected from such a young species. Within minutes, the brood mother's condition had stabilized further, her breathing easier, her strength returning. Captain Raylan observed the proceedings from a distance, deep in thought. Z had anticipated a tough mission, but the ease with which they had disabled the pirate ship and rescued the brood mother was surprising. The pirates had been far less organized than Zed expected, and it left Zur uneasy. Once the brood mother was resting comfortably, Aurel approached Raylan, curiosity and concern mingling in Zur's gaze. "Captain, what's troubling you?" Raylan looked at Aurel, a serious expression on Zur's face. "This was too easy, Aurel. These pirates, they're usually much more formidable. Something doesn't add up." Aurel considered this, realizing Raylan had a point. The pirates had put up a fight, but it hadn't been the fierce battle Aurel had expected. Could it be a trap? Or were the pirates simply not as powerful as the galaxy believed? "We need to find out who's behind this," Raylan continued. "There's more at play here, and we can't afford to be caught off guard." Aurel nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. The broodmother's kidnapping had been a calculated move, and there was likely a larger force at work behind the scenes. But who, or what, could be orchestrating such a plot? The answer came sooner than expected. As the Ela sped away from the pirate ship, a sudden alert blared through the ship. The pilot's voice crackled over the comms, laced with urgency. "Captain, we've got a massive fleet incoming. They're bearing pirate insignia, but the signatures don't match any known ships." Raylan's eyes widened. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Aurel, get the broodmother to a safe area now." Aurel didn't waste a moment, rushing back to the medbay where the broodmother rested. The ship shuddered as it accelerated, the engines roaring as they pushed the vessel to its limits. Aurel could feel the tension rising, the air thick with anticipation and fear. "We're under attack," Aurel said urgently as he reached the broodmother. "We need to move you to safety." The broodmother, though weakened, nodded in understanding. With Aurel's help, she slowly rose from the bed, her movements deliberate but determined. Together, they made their way to the ship's inner sanctum, a heavily fortified section designed to protect against external threats. As they entered the secure area, Aurel couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The pirates had been disorganized, almost too easy to defeat. But now, a much larger fleet had appeared, one with unknown capabilities and intentions. It was as if they had been baited into a trap. Raylan's voice came through the comms again, this time calm with a steely edge. "All crew, prepare for combat. This isn't going to be an easy fight, but we faced worse. We protect the broodmother at all costs." The ship lurched as the first impacts hit, the shields absorbing the brunt of the assault. Aurel felt a pang of fear, but it was quickly overshadowed by a fierce determination. The broodmother was safe for now, and the humans were doing everything in their power to keep it that way. The minutes dragged on, each impact shaking the ship to its core. The crew's voices filled the comms, reports of damage and requests for support mixing with orders and encouragement. Despite the overwhelming odds, there was no panic, only resolve. But then, something changed. The impacts lessened, and the ship's sensors began to pick up an anomaly. A new ship had entered the fray, one that wasn't broadcasting any known signature. It was massive, dwarfing even the pirate vessels, and it was moving toward the Ela with alarming speed. "Captain, we've got a new contact," the pilot reported, Zur's voice tinged with both fear and awe. I've never seen anything like it." Raylan didn't respond immediately, Zur's gaze fixed on the main display. The new ship was unlike anything Zur had ever encountered. Its design was alien, even by galactic standards, and it was armed to the teeth. "Aurel," Raylan finally said, Zur's voice grim, "I think we're about to find out who's really behind this." Aurel felt a cold dread settle in Zur's stomach. This new ship, with its unknown origins and overwhelming power, could only mean one thing. The pirates were not the true threat. They were just pawns, manipulated by a far more dangerous enemy. And as the massive ship closed in on the Ela, Aurel knew that their fight was far from over. They had rescued the broodmother, but now they faced a new and terrifying adversary, one that could change the fate of the galaxy forever. Unmasking the true enemy. The Ela trembled under the shadow of the colossal alien ship, its dark hull blocking out the stars as it loomed ever closer. Inside the secure area, Orel's mind raced, trying to make sense of the situation. Who could command such power, and why had they targeted the broodmother? Questions swirled in Zer's mind, but there was no time for answers. The broodmother, sensing Orel's anxiety, placed a comforting hand on Zer's shoulder. "Orel," she said, her voice steadier now, "we must remain calm. Whatever this new enemy is, we will face it together." Orel nodded, drawing strength from the broodmother's resolve. Despite her weakened state, she still exuded an air of authority and wisdom, traits that had made her a revered leader among her people. Now, more than ever, they would need those qualities to survive. Raylan's voice crackled over the comms, commanding and clear. "All hands, prepare for potential boarding actions. This new ship could be a carrier, and we don't know what kind of forces it's deploying. Stay alert and follow your training." The crew's acknowledgments echoed through the ship, a mix of determination and readiness. The Ela's defenses were being pushed to their limits, but Raylan's leadership kept the crew focused. They knew what was at stake and were prepared to do whatever it took to protect the broodmother and their ship. The alien vessel began emitting a low-frequency signal that resonated through the Ela's hull, causing the ship to vibrate ominously. The crew's tension escalated as they tried to decipher the signal, but its meaning remained elusive. "Captain," the communications officer called out, "I'm picking up a message from the alien ship. It's not in any language we've encountered before, but it seems to be some kind of demand." Raylan's brow furrowed as Z considered the implications. "Put it on the main screen. Let's see what they want." The display flickered to life, revealing an alien figure shrouded in shadow. Its features were indistinct, hidden beneath a cloak of darkness, but its presence was unmistakably commanding. The being's voice resonated through the ship, a deep, guttural sound that sent shivers down Orel's spine. "Humans," the figure intoned, its words translated by the ship's systems, "you have interfered with our plans long enough. The creature you protect is of great value to us. Surrender her now, and we may spare your lives." Raylan's eyes narrowed as Z met the gaze of the alien on the screen. "We don't negotiate with terrorists," Z replied coldly. "The broodmother is under our protection. If you want her, you'll have to go through us." A moment of silence followed, during which the alien's image remained unmoving. Then it spoke again, this time with a tone of quiet menace. "So be it, humans. You have chosen death." The transmission cut off abruptly, and the Ela's sensors lit up with new warnings. Multiple boarding craft had launched from the alien ship, speeding toward the Ela like a swarm of angry hornets. The crew braced themselves for impact, knowing the real battle was about to begin. "Orel, stay with the broodmother," Raylan ordered as Z readied Zer weapons. "We'll hold them off as long as we can. If they breach, protect her at all costs." Orel nodded, determination steeling Zer nerves. The broodmother was the key to everything, and Orel would not let her be taken, not after all they had been through. The first boarding craft slammed into the Ela's hull, sending shockwaves through the ship. The crew responded instantly, sealing off affected sections and deploying countermeasures. Raylan led a team to intercept the intruders, while Orel remained with the broodmother, ready to defend her with every ounce of strength Z had. The ship's corridors echoed with the sounds of combat as the alien invaders clashed with the human defenders. The aliens were unlike anything the crew had encountered before. Tall, sinewy beings with segmented armor and weapons that crackled with energy. They moved with an eerie, synchronized precision, their attacks relentless and coordinated. Despite the odds, the humans fought back with fierce determination. They had faced many threats in their time, but this was different. These aliens were not just soldiers. They were part of something far larger, a force that threatened not just the broodmother but the entire galaxy. As the battle raged on, Orel could hear the distant sounds of the struggle, each blast and explosion a reminder of the danger that loomed ever closer. The broodmother, though still recovering, remained focused, her mind sharp as she considered their next move. "We cannot stay here," she said quietly, her voice steady. "They will eventually break through. We must find a way to escape or turn the tide of this battle." Oral nodded, knowing she was right. They were cornered, and it was only a matter of time before the aliens breached their defenses. But how could they escape when they were outnumbered and outgunned? An idea began to form in Oral's mind, a risky, desperate plan that might be their only chance. "What if we turn their own technology against them?" Z suggested. "If we can infiltrate their ship, we might be able to disrupt their systems, give ourselves a fighting chance." The broodmother considered this, her eyes narrowing in thought. "It's dangerous, but it might be our only option. We need a way to board their ship without being detected. If we can reach their core systems, we could potentially disable their fleet." Just then, Raylan's voice came through the comms, breathless but resolute. "We've managed to hold them off for now, but they're not stopping. Oral, we need a plan. Fast." Oral quickly relayed Zer's idea to Raylan, who listened intently. There was a brief pause before Raylan responded, Zer's tone reflecting a mix of concern and resolve. "It's a long shot, but it could work. We'll need to create a diversion to draw their attention away from you and the broodmother. If we can pull it off, you might have a chance to reach their ship." Raylan's words filled Oral with a renewed sense of purpose. This was it, their chance to turn the tide. With the crew's help, they could infiltrate the alien ship and strike at the heart of their enemy. It was a bold plan, but one that offered a glimmer of hope in an otherwise dire situation. "We'll need to move quickly," the broodmother said, rising to her feet with Oral's assistance. "Time is not on our side." Raylan relayed the plan to the rest of the crew, who immediately began preparing for the risky maneuver. They would launch a series of targeted attacks to draw the aliens' attention, creating enough chaos to allow Oral and the broodmother to slip away unnoticed. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, each member playing their part in the desperate gambit. As the Ela's systems powered up for the diversion, Oral steeled herself for what lay ahead. This was not just about survival. It was about striking a blow against a powerful enemy that threatened them all. The broodmother, sensing Oral's determination, gave Zer a reassuring nod. "You have shown great courage, Oral. Whatever happens, know that you have already made a difference." Oral swallowed the lump in Zer's throat, feeling the weight of the responsibility that had been placed on Zer's shoulders. Z was not a warrior, but in this moment, Z would fight with every fiber of Zer being to protect those he cared about. The ship shuddered as the first wave of the diversionary attacks began. Explosions rippled through the alien fleet, drawing their attention away from the Ela. It was now or never. "Go," Raylan urged over the comms. "We'll cover your escape. Good luck." With a final glance at the courageous humans fighting to protect them, Oral and the broodmother made their way to a small shuttle bay, where a stealth-equipped shuttle awaited them. It was their best chance to slip past the enemy and reach the alien ship undetected. As they boarded the shuttle, Oral's heart pounded with anticipation and fear. The plan was fraught with danger, but it was the only way to stop the aliens and save the galaxy from whatever dark forces were at play. The shuttle's engines hummed to life, and with a silent prayer, Oral guided the craft out of the Ela's hangar, slipping into the cold void of space. The alien ship loomed ahead, an ominous reminder of the power they were about to face. With the diversion in full swing, the shuttle moved undetected, its stealth systems masking it from the alien sensors. Oral guided the shuttle toward a maintenance hatch on the massive ship's hull, carefully aligning the craft for a breach. "We're almost there," Oral said, sweat beading on Zer's forehead. "Stay ready." The broodmother nodded, her expression one of calm determination. They were about to step into the heart of the enemy's lair, but they would do so with purpose and resolve. As the shuttle docked with the alien ship, the hatch opened with a soft hiss, revealing a narrow, dimly lit corridor. Oral's breath caught in Zer's throat as Z peered inside. This was it, their only chance to strike back. "Let's go," Oral whispered, leading the way into the alien ship. They moved quickly but cautiously, the silence of the ship adding to the tension. The corridors were unlike anything Orel had seen, with strange symbols and pulsating lights that seemed almost organic in nature. This was not just a ship, it was a living entity, a creation of a species far beyond their understanding. But there was no time to marvel at the alien architecture. They had a mission to complete, and every second counted. Orel led the way, following the broodmother's guidance as they navigated the maze-like corridors toward the ship's core. Finally, they reached a massive chamber, the heart of the ship's operations. The room was filled with strange machinery, humming with energy. This was the source of the ship's power, the key to their victory. "We need to disrupt their systems," the broodmother said, her voice low. "If we can overload their core, it will cripple their fleet and give our forces a fighting chance." Orel nodded, quickly scanning the room for a way to access the ship's systems. It was a daunting task, but they had come too far to turn back now. With trembling hands, Orel began interfacing with the alien machinery, using the knowledge Z had gained from their journey to manipulate the ship's systems. The broodmother stood guard, her eyes scanning the chamber for any signs of the enemy. The minutes ticked by, each one filled with a tense silence. Orel worked as quickly as possible, inputting commands and rerouting power. Finally, a series of alarms began to blare, signaling the beginning of the overload. "It's working," Orel said, relief flooding Zer's voice. "We need to get out of here. Now." But before they could move, a figure emerged from the shadows, blocking their path. It was the alien leader, the same being they had seen on the screen. Its eyes glowed with an eerie light as it regarded them with a mixture of contempt and curiosity. "You have interfered for the last time," the alien leader hissed, its voice dripping with malice. "You may have disrupted our plans, but you will not leave this ship alive." Orel and the broodmother exchanged a glance, their determination unwavering. They had come too far to be stopped now. With a nod of understanding, they prepared to face their final challenge. The alien leader advanced, its weapon crackling with energy. Orel stood Zer ground, knowing that the fate of the galaxy rested on this moment. The fight was far from over, but they would give it everything they had. For humanity, for the broodmother, for the future of the galaxy. The final stand. The tension in the chamber was palpable as Orel and the broodmother faced down the alien leader. The strange, pulsing lights of the ship's core cast eerie shadows across the room, amplifying the sense of dread that hung in the air. Orel's heart raced, but Z knew there was no turning back. This confrontation would decide the fate of their mission, and perhaps the entire galaxy. The alien leader moved with a predatory grace, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light as it sized up its opponents. "You humans are persistent," it sneered, its voice resonating with a cold menace. "But your efforts are futile. We are beyond your understanding, beyond your capacity to resist." Orel felt a surge of anger at the alien's arrogance. Z had seen the determination of Zer fellow humans, the courage they had shown in the face of overwhelming odds. Humanity was not to be underestimated, and neither was the broodmother who stood beside Zer. "We may not understand everything about you," Orel said, stepping forward, "but we know one thing. We won't stop fighting for what's right." The alien leader tilted its head, as if considering Orel's words. Then, with a dismissive wave of its hand, it unleashed a torrent of energy from its weapon, a crackling beam of destructive force that surged toward them. Orel reacted instantly, diving to the side as the energy beam seared through the space where Z had stood. The broodmother moved with surprising speed, her own abilities manifesting in a shield of energy that deflected the blast. The room shook with the impact, but they remained unscathed. "Stay focused," the broodmother urged, her voice steady and commanding. "We can defeat this creature if we work together." Orel nodded, gripping Zer's weapon tightly. The alien leader was powerful, but they had faced impossible odds before. This time would be no different. They spread out, flanking the alien leader from opposite sides. The leader's eyes followed them, its expression unreadable but clearly calculating. It was no ordinary foe. It was an entity that had likely conquered countless worlds, and now it was determined to crush humanity's last hope. The alien leader lashed out again, this time with a sweeping gesture that sent tendrils of energy coursing through the chamber. Auril ducked and rolled, narrowly avoiding the crackling whips of power. The broodmother responded with a burst of her own energy, disrupting the tendrils and forcing the leader to recalibrate its attack. For a moment, it seemed as if they were evenly matched, but Auril knew they couldn't keep this up indefinitely. The alien ship was already beginning to destabilize from the overload Auril had initiated, and they needed to escape before it was too late. "We have to get to the shuttle," Auril called out to the broodmother as they continued to evade the alien leader's relentless assaults. "The ship won't hold much longer." The broodmother nodded in agreement, her eyes narrowing as she launched another wave of energy at the alien leader. "Go. I'll hold it off." Auril hesitated, torn between the need to escape and the desire to fight alongside the broodmother. But the alien leader was too strong, and they both knew that someone needed to stay behind to buy them time. "No," Auril shouted, refusing to abandon her. "We go together." The alien leader sneered, clearly amused by their determination. "Foolish human, you cannot defeat me. This ship will be your tomb." But even as the alien leader taunted them, the ship's systems began to fail, the overload taking its toll. The walls trembled, and the lights flickered ominously as the core destabilized. Time was running out. With a sudden burst of speed, the alien leader charged at the broodmother, aiming to strike her down in one decisive blow. Auril acted on instinct, hurling Zerself between them and raising Zer weapon to block the attack. The force of the impact knocked Auril to the ground, Zer weapon shattering under the alien's power. Pain shot through Zer body, but Z refused to back down. Z had to protect the broodmother, no matter the cost. The broodmother reacted swiftly, unleashing a concentrated blast of energy that struck the alien leader with staggering force. The leader stumbled back, caught off guard by the intensity of the attack. It was a momentary victory, but they knew it wouldn't last. "We have to go, now," the broodmother urged, helping Auril to Zer feet. With the alien leader momentarily dazed, they made a break for the shuttle, racing through the corridors as the ship continued to disintegrate around them. The path was treacherous, with debris falling and explosions echoing through the halls, but they pushed on, driven by sheer determination. The shuttle bay came into view, but the alien leader was not far behind. Auril could hear its enraged roar as it gave chase, determined to end their lives before they could escape. As they reached the shuttle, Auril quickly initiated the launch sequence, praying that the craft's stealth systems would still function. The broodmother stood at the hatch, ready to fend off the alien leader if necessary. Just as they were about to board, the alien leader appeared in the doorway, its eyes blazing with fury. "You cannot escape," it bellowed, raising its weapon for a final lethal strike. But in that instant, the ship's core erupted in a blinding explosion of light and energy. The alien leader hesitated, sensing the imminent destruction, and that moment of hesitation was all Auril needed. Auril slammed the hatch shut and hit the launch button. The shuttle's engines roared to life, propelling them out of the bay just as the ship began to collapse inward, consumed by the energy of the overload. The shuttle shot into space, the force of the explosion propelling it far from the alien ship as it disintegrated in a brilliant flash of light. Auril and the broodmother watched in silence as the ship, along with its malevolent leader, was consumed by the very power it had sought to wield. For a moment, there was nothing but the vast, silent void of space. Then the shuttle systems came back online, the steady hum of the engines a reassuring sound in the aftermath of the chaos. "We did it," Auril whispered, hardly believing they had survived. "We actually did it." The broodmother placed a hand on Auril's shoulder, her expression one of deep respect and gratitude. "You were brave, Auril, Braver than I could have imagined. Humanity owes you a great debt. Oral shook Zur head, feeling a mix of relief and exhaustion. We all fought together. That's what made the difference. The broodmother smiled, a rare expression of warmth and approval. Indeed, together, we are stronger than any enemy. As the shuttle made its way back to the Ela, which was now drifting in space, awaiting their return, Aurel allowed Zurself a moment to breathe. The danger had passed, but the memories of the battle and the lessons learned would stay with Zur forever. They had faced a powerful, unknown enemy and emerged victorious, not just through force, but through unity and determination. And as they returned to the Ela, Aurel knew that humanity had proven once again that they were a force to be reckoned with, a species that would never back down in the face of danger, no matter how great. As the shuttle docked with the Ela, Aurel, and the broodmother were greeted by the cheers and relief of the crew. Raylan, who had led the defense of the Ela with unwavering courage, stood at the forefront, Zur eyes reflecting pride and admiration. "You did it," Raylan said, embracing Aurel. "You saved us all." Aurel smiled, feeling a sense of belonging and purpose that Z had never known before. "We all did it. Together." The broodmother nodded in agreement, her gaze sweeping over the crew. "This is a victory for all of us. For humans and aliens alike. We have shown that cooperation, even in the face of overwhelming odds, can lead to triumph." As the crew celebrated their hard-won victory, Aurel knew that the galaxy would never be the same. The battle they had fought had revealed the true strength of humanity, a strength rooted in creativity, curiosity, and an unyielding will to protect those they cared about. And as they prepared to return home, Aurel felt a deep sense of pride. They had faced the unknown and emerged victorious. And whatever challenges lay ahead, Aurel knew that humanity would face them with the same courage and determination that had carried them through this battle. For they were humanity, a species that had proven time and again that they would never be underestimated. A new dawn. The Ela drifted through the quiet of space, the stars twinkling in the vast expanse around it. Inside the ship, the mood was one of cautious optimism. They had survived an encounter with a powerful and mysterious alien force, and now the crew was focused on recovering from the ordeal and planning their next steps. Aurel sat in the command center, gazing out at the stars. The battle had taken its toll, both physically and emotionally, but there was a sense of accomplishment in the air. They had faced a seemingly insurmountable challenge and had come out on top, thanks to their unity and determination. Raylan approached, placing a hand on Aurel's shoulder. "How are you holding up?" Z asked, concern in Zur eyes. Aurel smiled faintly. "Tired, but relieved. We all did our part, and we made it through. I just can't stop thinking about what's next." Raylan nodded, understanding Aurel's thoughts. "We've opened a door to a much larger universe, one with dangers we can't fully comprehend. But we've also shown that we can handle whatever comes our way." The broodmother entered the room, her presence commanding as always. She looked between Aurel and Raylan, her expression thoughtful. "This encounter has taught us much. It has shown that there are forces out there beyond our understanding, but also that humanity possesses a resilience and strength that few can match." Aurel turned to her, feeling a deep respect for the alien leader who had fought alongside them. "What do you think will happen now? Will more of these aliens come after us?" The broodmother considered the question carefully. "It's possible. The alien leader we faced was likely just one part of a larger entity or civilization. They may seek retribution, or they may decide to leave us be. But one thing is certain, we must be prepared for whatever comes next." Raylan nodded in agreement. "We need to strengthen our defenses, improve our technology, and continue to build alliances. The galaxy is vast, and we're just beginning to understand our place in it." Aurel's mind raced with possibilities. They had proven their strength in battle, but there was so much more to explore, so much more to learn. The galaxy held secrets and wonders beyond their wildest imaginations, and now humanity had the opportunity to reach for them. As the days passed, the crew of the Ela worked tirelessly to repair the ship and prepare for their return journey. The broodmother shared her knowledge with them, helping to enhance their systems and defenses. Her people, though different in many ways, had much to offer in terms of technology and strategy. Aurel found herself growing closer to the broodmother, their bond forged in the heat of battle deepening into something more profound. They had fought side by side, and now they were working together to ensure the safety and future of both their species. One evening, as the Ela floated peacefully among the stars, Aurel and the broodmother stood together on the observation deck. The view was breathtaking, the stars stretching out in every direction like a sea of diamonds. "What do you see when you look out there?" the broodmother asked, her voice soft and contemplative. Aurel took a deep breath, letting the vastness of the universe fill Zer's senses. "I see endless possibilities, a future where humans and aliens can work together, where we can explore the unknown and make it our own. But I also see challenges, dangers that we can't even imagine yet." The broodmother nodded slowly. "You have a wise perspective, Aurel. The universe is indeed full of both wonder and peril. But with allies like you, I believe we can face whatever comes." Aurel turned to her, feeling the deep connection that went beyond words. "We've been through so much together. I don't think I could have done it without you." The broodmother smiled, a rare and genuine expression of warmth. "Nor could I have without you. You've shown me that humans are more than just another species. They are a force to be reckoned with, and one that I am proud to call my allies." As they stood there, side by side, the future seemed both uncertain and bright. They had faced a terrible enemy and emerged victorious, but there were still so many unknowns, so many challenges that lay ahead. But Aurel knew that whatever happened, Z wouldn't be facing it alone. The Ela's systems hummed with life as the ship began its journey back to human space. The crew was tired but resolute, their spirits lifted by the knowledge that they had not only survived, but had proven themselves capable of great things. As the stars streaked by, Aurel felt a sense of peace settle over Zer. They were returning home, but it was a different home than the one they had left. They had changed, grown stronger, and more united. And now, they were ready to face whatever the universe had in store for them. The broodmother placed a hand on Aurel's arm, her touch gentle and reassuring. "We have much to do, Aurel, but I believe that together we can accomplish anything." Aurel looked at her, feeling the surge of confidence and determination. "You're right. We've come this far, and there's no turning back now. The galaxy is waiting, and we're ready to meet it head-on." With that, they turned their gaze back to the stars, their minds filled with the possibilities of the future. They had faced the unknown and emerged victorious, and now they were ready to carve out their place in the galaxy, together. The Ela's engines roared to life, propelling them forward into the great unknown. And as the ship sped through the cosmos, Aurel knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in humanity's story, one filled with adventure, discovery, and the unbreakable bond between human and alien. For in the vastness of space, they had found not only a new enemy but also new allies and a new sense of purpose. And with that purpose guiding them, there was nothing they couldn't achieve. The galaxy was theirs for the taking, and Aurel knew that they would face whatever challenges lay ahead with the same courage, creativity, and strength that had brought them this far. Together, they would forge a new dawn, a future where humanity and its allies would thrive among the stars.